A group of married couples get together for a Christmas dinner. Pretty sure you can get one off for like $50. Shirley Tamu is selling fake Mercedes like they sell fake everything else. A girl tells her friend, "Look at the car my boyfriend gave me, it cost $100,000. The other says, "My car also cost $100,000, only it was the gift of 1,000 boyfriends at $100 each." It pisses me off that you should be able to buy a lab-grown diamond the size of your head for about $10. Yet because it's a diamond they conspire to keep the prices high. The Mercedes C-Class and E-Class are made in China. A joke my mother told me, "Would you like these rabbits mounted?" No, just holding hands. Huh? Bonnie wasn't a bunny. That solid gold bone is really going to jack up the price. My mother once told me a joke. She told me I would be someone really important someday. Why did the guy wear a tux to his vasectomy? If he was going to be impotent, he wanted to look impotent. What? He said he wanted a statue of his dog. So why would it be in the shape of a bone? Don't down yourself, garbage men are important. A woman grants her mother's unusual dying wish. There's nothing wrong with watching a little amputee porn from time to time, mostly harmless. I got my wife a severed foot for Christmas. It's just a stocking stuffer. Wiry, thanks. That's what I came for. Why do I constantly read these until the end? Why? 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 This joke needs an haircut or maybe pedicure? Necrophiliacs genuinely laughed. It was a windy road, but we got there. Please explain. An adult octopus can crawl in your mouth, go through your entire body and go out your butt with very little effort. You seem a bit too confident about this. I don't think it would be very little effort. Take a few moments to research the caustic nature of stomach acid. Not even tardigrades can survive a human stomach. The Deep has entered the chat. It had to buy me dinner first. Wasn't there a guy that almost died or did die from eating a live octopus? Can they be trained to go the other way? Don't tempt me with a good time. I think stomach acid would fuck it up pretty bad. Thanks so much, but no thanks. I'm sure there's an anime out there with an octopus traveling through an entire person. Awaiting link. Greek shower thoughts. Employers of Reddit, what can someone put on a resume that sends it straight to the shredder? I received a resume last week that had notes on it: insert relevant skills here and maybe change font, fill this space with buzzwords. This was on his LinkedIn profile as well. If you can't pay attention to the resume you send out, I can't trust you'll pay attention to anything else. Well, guy made it through the resume but almost didn't make it through the onboarding paperwork. Entry-level position. Guy was 19 I think. Nice enough kid, low life experience, but that's how it all starts. Contact good. X200B. Like if we called your mom, and you were hurt, she'd care? I had one where under education he wrote suck my dick and get me a job. I stared at the screen for a good 3 minutes when I read that. I like my women the way I like my laptop. Gets so hot, can barely run. Like my dirty and broken. And here I was thinking hot and ready to blow all the time. Like my work. I like my women the way I like my pubic hair. Does your computer ever go down on you? I like my women the way I like advent calendars. Against a wall, flaps open, ready to be eaten. I've been around the internet too long. I was waiting for him to say folded up and in a little bag. Slow and unable to complete simple tasks. So slow you have to give it a few smacks on the side. I like my women the way I like my friends. He'll never have friends. I like my women like I like my coffee. Strong and in large cup sizes. I like my women like I like my laptop. Old, used, and $200 on Craigslist. Not suddenly dying on you? Broken, covered in my pubes and semen? I've never seen an energetic person drinking energy drinks, and I've never seen someone who drinks energy drinks being energetic. I think the world is under a chronic fatigue epidemic and people just don't realize it. Seriously, we're drinking them to just feel alive, okay? Why take a cure for a problem you don't have? I've never seen a skinny person taking weight loss pills, because a skinny person doesn't need them. I definitely have. They still suck though. I have recently come to the conclusion I have been using energy drinks and coffee as a way of keeping my attention span on tasks due to it being a stimulant. I now plan on trying to get diagnosed with ADHD. Hopefully I can cut back on my caffeine in the near future. I watched this tiny girl who used to be a gymnast and had never had caffeine before drink a Red Bull. The damage to the world was incredible, but she looked like she had fun. Till Steve Glue was a smuggler who made millions smuggling Pez dispensers. This is due to collectors willing to pay very high prices for rare Pez, with one shipment being worth $500,000. He made $4.5 million over 11 years and had a documentary made about him, The Pez Outlaw. I like how Pez smuggling makes Pez look like a designer drug. Company tried to stop him by sending cease and desist letters, filing lawsuits and hiring private investigators. Steve Glue denied the allegations and continued his business until 2005 when he was arrested by Homeland Security agents for tax evasion and money, pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 18 months in prison and ordered to pay $1.2 million in restitution and fines. The movie was surprisingly engaging. The German factory boss was the best. I'm not saying I took bribes, but what is in the past is in the past. Till Tom Green's movie Freddy Got Fingered was nominated for 8 Golden Raspberry Awards and won 5. Tom Green attended the ceremony and brought his own red carpet. He then went on to play the harmonica badly for so long that he was dragged off stage. It was the night that they realized you could not out-troll Tom Green. I feel like 2 people could watch this and one could say, "That was the dumbest film I've ever seen." And the other could say, "That was a brilliantly subversive self-aware work." I'd agree with both. I say Geneva, you hear Helsinki, huh? 40 million fucking Deutschmark. Bob. The man was his own shitpost, long before shitposting was really clarified. Daddy, would you like some sausage? You know when you thought a movie was hilarious when you were 12 but then you watch it as an adult and you're like, WTF? This is not that movie. I relived it a few months ago and it's just as funny. Till that Queen Victoria was raised onto the Kensington system, a strict and elaborate set of rules designed to render the young princess isolated, weak and dependent on her mother. It backfired, instead leading Victoria to resent and resist her mother once she came of age. Sounds a lot like child abuse DBH. Victoria's first request as queen was to be left alone for a moment. Love the idea of all the people who had a lot invested in the idea of handling her standing around realizing they actually had to do what she said and slowly leaving. Ironically, she was a controlling mother herself. Hated her eldest son because he didn't resemble his handsome old man. Also liked sex with Albert so much, she endured 9 pregnancies despite hating being pregnant and hating how ugly babies were. You would think after a few centuries they would figure out how to raise a monarch. Her first act of queen was to move her bed out of her mother's room. Targeted advertising doesn't work if you don't care about advertisements at all. Advertisement is based off of a group, not an individual. Targeted ads expect to increase the percentage of a group that is intrigued by the offering, but nobody expects a 100 effectiveness rating, or if you don't see ads at all thanks to our blog origin. Everyone in this thread that thinks they are immune to advertising is in denial. Every single person is susceptible to something, but you only think about the advertising that isn't effective for you. You are not immune to propaganda. Actually, it kind of does. Even if you don't consciously read or interact with the ad, you still see it. One can pretend to be somehow immune to advertising, but that's not really how humans work. In short, ads work whether you care about them or not. Advertising doesn't work. That's why companies spend so much money on it. The sharpest tool in the shed is the one which has been used the least. Or it could be used a lot but also resharpened a lot. Actually, it's the one cared for the most. It's the one that's been maintained properly. False. My wood chisels get used often and will shave hair with no effort, says the brightest bulb in the onion patch. Tell me you don't use tools without telling me you don't use tools. The sharpest tools in my tool shed are the ones that I need for precision cutting. My whittling knife is honed keenly. My hatchet is filed to split wood. My hammer isn't sharp at all. But they do the job I need them. My chisel is not sharp because it's actually a screwdriver. But that's the exception. Or is the most recently sharpened, or been continually honed. That boy isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Have you never heard of sharpening your tools, op? Do you just buy new ones when they go dull? Are you wasting your money, op? 2 hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He's not breathing, and his eyes are glazed. The other guy whips out his cell phone and calls 911. 2 hunters are out in the woods. One of them goes to pee on a heap of stones, but to his bad luck he is bitten on his penis by a snake. He's in great pain. The other guy whips out his cell phone and calls 911. My friend was bitten by a snake, he yells. What can I do? The operator says, calm down. If you suck the poison ASAP, there's a big chance he'll survive. There's a silence. His friend asks, what did they say? And the other, he said, you're dead. This joke was voted funniest joke in the world in 2002 and later discovered to be from a 1951 episode of The Goon Show. Spike Milligan was a bloody legend. 27's funniest joke. Most reposted joke ever. What do poor countries do better than rich countries? Work as a community. Social contact. The first thing my relatives from India observe when they visit our suburban Texas home is, where are all the people? Hundreds of massive homes and hardly any people seen outside. Also, noise. Asked the visiting relative the next morning if they slept okay. They responded, "No." I asked why? And they said it was too early. Quiet facepalm. Problem-solving capabilities with less resource. Creative work. They seem to have a better sense of community. Focus on the here and now. People take care of each other. Flexibility and resilience. People in rich countries like to plan and anticipate. They are organized. It's great when everything goes according to plan, but all hell breaks loose when things go haywire. People in poor countries are better at dealing with uncertainty. What is something that is actually going down in price? Solid-state drives, TVs, air fryers, flat-panel TVs are insanely cheap. Even huge ones. With insurance, thankfully. Insulin, kielbasa went down. Was $4.39, now it's $3.98. Makes me happy. Office space. Eggs are down substantially from this time last year. Edit. To clear the air, the lawsuit that recently settled was about price gouging that happened 20 years ago. What happened last year was an epidemic of avian flu that caused a shortage of egg-laying birds during the winter holidays. Marijuana. Value of used cars is trickling down. No fast, but it's a slow trend. Value of my house went down, yet taxes haven't, so there's that as well. Gas has gone down substantially in the past year where I'm from. What is your special cooking secrets that few people know? Don't cook a new recipe if you want to impress people. Cook with the same recipe many times until you're confident you can deliver good results, then use the recipe. I use better than bouillon to add flavor to many of the dishes I make. I keep jars of the chicken, beef, and veggie flavors in the fridge to use as needed. I use the beef flavor in pretty much anything that has ground beef. A tablespoon per pound when cooking the meat gives it so much more flavor than using just salt. I used to always oversalt my food if I found it a bit bland, but then I read somewhere to use lime juice instead, and it really does brighten up the flavors. If a dish tastes bland, it might need acid, not salt. A dash of vinegar or lime juice should be added before you add more salt. If you wanted to make a crisp and fresh salad, soak the vegetables in cold water for about 10 minutes before using. What isn't nearly as bad as Reddit would have you believe? Your relationship. I mentioned an ex being emotionally immature and someone said he's a covert narcissist. Not every relationship conflict is a sign that someone is abusing you. My mental health. Not everything means I'm a sociopath with ADHD. You do not get explosive diarrhea when you eat Taco Bell. Going to social events, and/or having a large or multiple friend circles. Just because someone is an acquaintance and not a best friend is not a bad thing. You can still enjoy their company. As a father, taking my daughters to the park. Nobody ever thought I was a predator or looked at me suspiciously. If anything, most people gave me positive vibes because they liked seeing a father actively involved. Nor was it strange to see other men working through relationship problems, seeing both sides of an argument. God, this site runs on absolutism. What poor people food was taken over by rich people. All the weird parts of the animal. Avocado toast. My grandfather used to talk fondly about only being able to afford cassava bread and avocado in his youngster days, and now it's a whole fancy thing. Pho used to be cheaper until word got out. Tacos, honestly. I used to be able to get 3 tacos for like $5 downtown like less than 10 years ago. Chicken wings. They used to be so cheap when I was a kid, we'd use them as crab bait when fishing off docks. Now they're stupid expensive for one of the shittier parts of the chicken. Food trucks. Quinoa, fajitas, skirt steak and chicken wings. Brown bread. White flour used to be far harder to get, so white bread was expensive. Poors ate the brown. Once white was mass-produced, it switched and poor people ate the white while rich folks got the healthy wholemeal. Grits and mai. What started as a good thing until it got too popular and reached the wrong people. Airbnb. It used to be a way for people to cheaply stay in someone's room for a few bucks. Now it's giant corporations vacuuming up every property in an area. Social media started with connecting friends, ended with influencers hawking laxatives. What a journey. The internet. Thrifting. Quora. Used to be a place where actual experts like scientists answer interesting questions. Now it's just bad teenage relationship advice. Travel. Instagram has completely changed the character of a lot of travel destinations and attracted people who, were it not for the likes, would be completely uninterested in the destination. Therapy, or at least the language of therapy. Toxic people have co-opted it so that they can control other people. Burning Man. What's the definition of a virgin in Alabama? I thought the answer is orphan. Be careful with this joke, it's an antique. On Here Yesterday, I thought it was an only child. The answer when I was a kid was the ugliest girl in the 3rd grade with no brothers. Brother, father, uncle, grandpa. Chose any male relative. See also ugly. A girl whose father, uncles and brothers are in jail. A fatherless 12-year-old. I heard this one. Where do you find virgin wool? In countries where sheep run faster than shepherds. Another version of this. For a certain ethnicity everybody loves in long, will the censored girl stay virgin? As long as her father is in jail, she's faster than her older brothers and stronger than her younger ones. An only child? Wife didn't appreciate my dad joke, but I thought y'all might. You don't have a ghost of a chance convincing her to move there, but I admire your spirit. It is the dead center of town. For some reason all the cemeteries around where I live have such low tombstones. Whenever my dad and I drive past them he yells, "Wake up, damn fakers." My dad always asked how many dead people in that cemetery? All of them. Try this one. Did you know that people living in this town can't be buried there? Because that's murder. I told that one to a state tax commissioner and had to pull over cause he was laughing so hard I was concerned for his health. My dad used to tell me that cemeteries were very people were dying to get in them. Homeowners association not very flexible. People are dying to live there. Don't think for a minute that a cemetery is quiet. People are just dying to get in there. That joke will come back to haunt you when it really is time to move.